Hi, this is Ramna coming to the week 4 discussion. Coming to introduction, software architecture is a key factor in designing and developing a software system that meets the requirements of its users. One of the key decisions that architects needs to make when designing a software system is whether to use a thin or thick client approach. A thin client approach involves most of the computing power being located on server side, with the client only providing an interface to it. In contrast, a thick client approach involves keeping a significant portion of computing on the client side. In this video, I will urge to in a favor of the thin client approach to software architecture by examining the load role of server side and client side programming and the load of the network in the case. Server side approach. Server side programming. In a thin client architecture, most of the computing power resides on the server side. The server performs tasks such as data storage, processing, and application logic. This approach provides several advantages. First, it simplifies the client-side programming as the client only needs to implement a simple interface to communicate with server. Second, it makes it easier to maintain the system as updates and maintenance tasks only needed to be performed on the server. Finally, it enables a higher level of security as sensitive data and processing tasks as performed on the server side, which can be protected by firewalls and other security measures. A good example of the system that uses a thin client architecture is Salesforce. Salesforce is a cloud-based customer relationship management CRM system that allows businesses to manage their customer interaction and sales. The system is accessed via a web browser and all the data and processing are done on the server side. The client side of programming is kept simple, which allows Salesforce to support a wide range of devices and platforms. Client side programming. In a thin architecture, the client-side programming is typically kept simple. The client only needs to implement a simple interface to communicate with the server. This approach has several advantages. First, it reduces the complexity of the client-side programming, which makes it easier to develop and maintain client-side applications. Second, it enables the system to support a wide range of devices and platforms as the client-side programming is kept simple. In contrast, ethic client architecture involves keeping a significant portion of the computing on the client side. This approach requires more complex client-side programming as client needs to implement a significant portion of the application logic. This can lead to increased development and maintenance costs as well as reduced system compatibility with different devices and platforms. Load of the network. In a thin client architecture, the load of the network is typically higher as most of the data and processing are done on the server side. This can lead to a slower response times, especially when dealing with large data sets or complex processing tasks. However, this approach has several advantages. First, it reduces the load on client-side device, which can improve the performance and battery life of the device. Second, it enables the system to support a wide range of devices and platforms. As client-side requirements are simple, in contrast, ethic client architecture typically involves a lower load on the network, as much as the data and processing are done on the client side. This can lead to faster response times and especially when dealing with large datasets and complex processing tasks. However, this approach can lead to increased load on client-side device, which can reduce its performance and conclusion. In conclusion, the choice between thin and thick client approach of software architecture is an important decision that architect needs to make when designing a software system. While both approaches have their advantage and disadvantage, the thin client approach provides several key benefits such as simplifying the client-side programming, making it easier to maintain the system and enabling a higher level of security. While the load on the network may be higher in a thin client approach, the benefits of this approach outweigh the disadvantages. Therefore, in most cases, a thin client approach architecture is better choice for software architecture than a thick client approach architecture.